As a Christian, I've wondered, would God be okay if I was cremated? Or am I required to be buried? And if I do decide to be cremated, will I still go to heaven?
Every day, 150,000 people exit this life. Traditionally, burial is the most common method to dispose of the body. However, for the first time in American history, a majority of Americans have chosen cremation rather than burial. Cremation is a 4 to 6 hour process where intense heat, somewhere between 1600 and 2000 degrees, is used to vaporize fat, tissue, and moisture in the body, transforming it back to its basic elements, leaving only the remains of bone. The fragments are then placed in a special processor that pulverizes the bone to a fine powder. These cremains are placed in a plastic bag within an urn or a temporary cremation container and returned to the deceased family. The Bible doesn't have much to say about cremation or burial. It's always been my belief that since Jesus was buried and pagans burned, that anything other than burial was a sin. However, since the Bible does not favor nor forbid cremation, it cannot be declared a sin. There is no doubt that Jewish, Christian, Catholic, and other mainstream denominations favor burial. However, they do not have any concerns when it comes to cremation. The Catholics do stress 100% of the remains being buried because of Genesis 3:19. By the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground. For out of it you were taken, for you are dust, and to the dust you shall return. John Macarthur has said, "The state of what remains of the old body is unimportant, and that we need not focus on how to dispose of our earthly bodies."
I agree and disagree with Macarthur. First, I believe that whether the body is living or deceased, it should always be treated with dignity and respect. Repeatedly, we are reminded throughout the scriptures that it is God who formed us and God who created us, first from the dust of the ground, then in the womb. Therefore, regardless if it's living or deceased, the body should always be treated with the utmost respect.
He goes on to say that obviously any buried body will eventually decompose. So cremation isn't a strange or wrong practice. It merely accelerates the natural process of oxidation. A common reason Christians choose cremation is to avoid the expense related to funeral service and burial. A traditional funeral today can cost between $8,000 and $10,000, and the average cost of cremation can be between $1,500 and $2,500. However, many families today will have a viewing of the body, a service, a cremation, then a graveside service. And when you factor in all the additions, a cremation service can add up to be just as much as a regular funeral service. So cremation can cost less, but not always. Which means that cost is not the number one reason for cremation. It's actually number 3. They say that the number one reason for cremation is flexibility. People are busier today than ever, so cremation takes away time constraints and allows families more time to plan a memorial service. In the past, burials were simple. Family could easily gather at their local church, then head over to the cemetery and visit their loved one. But today, families aren't living as close together as they used to. So with cremation, they aren't tied down to a specific cemetery or location. So when they move, they can transport the ashes with them. The most important thing to remember when it comes to cremation is to treat the body with dignity and the utmost respect. Hey guys, Jeremy Skinner here, and if you've made it to the very end, I appreciate you watching this video. I hope it was helpful to you, and if it was, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to this channel, and be sure to share it with another family that is dealing with death at this time. God bless.